Alrighty, beautiful and strong people. Welcome to the Deadlift Mastery, the place in which we're going to learn how to properly deadlift and how to properly generate force against the ground while we are rooted to the bar. The bar becomes one of us and we're finishing up strong. So we're going to learn the nuances of deadlifting properly for the most amount of load we can possibly tolerate from setup to execution. Now, just like with the squat, we need to actually understand what we're actually going to do before we're diving into technique. So mastery begins with clarity, knowing exactly where we're going, what we should be expecting, and where the direction should be, where our focus should be directed. Because the deadlift is the purest test of strength. From the floor, you're just lifting it up from point A to point B. Or on the floor, it's actually glued to the ground, so it's not on our back, it's not in our hands like with the bench press. It's actually off the floor, so you're lifting it all off the floor. But behind that simplicity lies a complex skill that we're going to learn during this course. We're going to break down the deadlift into clear, repeatable steps so you know exactly what to do from the setup to the lockout. So, why does mastering the technique of the deadlift really matter so much? Well, first of all, let's take a look at why is the deadlift so important. Besides, of course, being part of the power lift, it builds unmatched posterior chain strength. It trains the grip, bracing, and full body coordination. It carries over to athletics, squat, and overall power. However, poor technique is going to increase tremendously the injury risk. How many people did you hear that got injured while deadlifting? A lot of people. So, as beautiful as it sounds, the benefits of actually doing the deadlift, knowing how to execute it properly is going to be paramount to getting stronger. Because you can't get stronger if you're injured. You can't get stronger under pain. You gotta lift pain-free and you gotta lift confidently. And if you're going through injuries, that confidence will plummet. And it will make you want to step away from deadlifting. And we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're actually deadlifting as much as our body can actually tolerate so we can actually become stronger. So what does mastery really look like when it comes to the deadlift? Efficient setup, consistent every rep. So you know exactly where your hips should be, you know exactly where your knees should be, you know exactly the angle of your torso, you know exactly how to properly grip, you know exactly how to generate force against the ground. The brace remains intact during load. So no matter the load, your brace remains there intact. There is no breakdown of it. The bar path is vertical, so stacked over midfoot. From the start to where you're actually finishing it, you're still finishing within midfoot. And of course, lockout strong. No hitching, no ramping. We're not using our thighs. We're not trying to support the bar on our thighs to actually finish up the movement. We're going to pretty much look like my client, Thomas, which he's an absolute superhero. He's 52 years old, and he's been absolutely crushing it. He's crushing state records over state records. We're working to actually make some national records in the USPA Federation. So I want you guys to look like Thomas someday. So just as a course roadmap, we're going to learn step-by-step alignment, checking the bar landmarks, where our feet should be. Bracing, how to brace properly. We already learned about that when we were doing the squat course. Hinging to the bar and how to properly really load our hamstrings and glutes. Setting the grip and the differences of the grip. Reinforcing the brace, because we're going to learn that we're going to have to brace on top and at the bottom. You're going to learn why that's important. Rooting the feet, which again, it's just as foundational, as important as it is on the squat. Creating tension and pulling the slack. Wedging the hips, which a lot of people are actually having trouble with the slack pull and the wedge. We're going to break it down. You're going to know exactly how to do it. Right and efficient. Variations and individual differences. Because just like with the squat, just like with the bench, there are some individual differences to actually take under account. Of course, common faults that usually happen during the deadlift and troubleshooting them and finding fixes. So, again, my promise to you, if you're this kind of guy with rushed setups, rounded back, slack not pulled, hitching to finish the lifts, My promise to you is you're going to look like Thomas: calm, repeatable setup, neutral, stable brace, tension built before the bar leaves the floor, smooth and strong lockouts. So, key principles to keep in mind. Key principles. The setup is 80% of the lift. If you get the setup right, the lift just moves by itself. Just like on the squat, just like on the bench. The setup is almost everything. Bracing is foundational. It's survival. It's not optional. You need to brace. You need to keep the brace in. You need to put it in the forefront of the execution because that's what's actually keeping your spine stable and it's keeping your torso rigid and in position. Tension before movement. We need to create tension before we're even thinking about creating movement because with tension, we're starting the movement. Stability breeds power, power breeds strength, and patience equals progress. So, without further ado, we're going to get in lesson 1. So catch you later.